Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about the win totals in the Big 12. You guys know the deal. The podcast is today. So I've been looking over the schedules again, looking over all the teams. And it's the preseason, so we're going to miss some. So you might want to diversify yourself. Be careful, okay? If you have a gut feeling and you want to stay away from it, please do that. But this is the last video I'm going to make on futures bets for the Big 12, and I want to talk about it in its totality. I'll go in alphabetical order. First and foremost, we're going to start with Arizona. And if you look at Arizona and the sports book, they have changed the over-under to 7.5. Now, one thing I'll say about the Big 12 is most of the win totals have not changed. They've only changed Arizona, Colorado, Houston, and Oklahoma State. 4 teams. That's a big difference from the Big 10. Okay, or now I haven't even checked the SEC yet, but what I'm telling you is that people put a ton of money on the Big 10 teams. And that's what drove those lines either way or the other. Here in the Big 12, people have not put a ton of money on teams. Only about 3 or 4 teams have they been putting their money on. And so when I do the analysis, I'm kind of at the same conclusion I had in the offseason. So we'll start with Arizona. First and foremost, on my ratings chart, and I'm either really wrong or really right. And we can have that discussion all season long. But I love Arizona. Arizona, when I assess them, to me, is the number 1 team in the Big 12, talent-wise. Talent on Arizona is number 1. And remember, this is a team that was the 3rd best team in the Pac-12 last year. They finished 3rd in the polls. They were number 11 in the polls. In the final polls of the season, they were 11th. They lost nobody to the league, really. A tight end, for the most part. 1 offensive lineman. I'm trying to think, what did they lose? I can't think of anything. They lost a head coach. They lost about 6 players. But this is one of the very best teams in America, bringing back everybody. They have an incredibly solid offensive line, one of the best receiving corps in America, a great quarterback. The running back room is absolutely loaded. They found a new pass rusher coming over from San Jose State. He's going to be a household name. Shout out to Trey. And when I look at that defensive line, they look pretty solid. And the linebacker core is the bee's knees. Secondary's legit. Safeties are amazing. I look at this team and I'm like, where are the holes? What are we doing? Apparently Vegas is on some other wavelength. And Vegas is telling you they're not any good. I have assessed them to be very good. Like double-digit wins good. I have them 6th in my preseason poll when it comes to talent. I'm either way wrong or Vegas is way wrong. We're going to figure it out. So what they're trying to tell you when they say they're only going to win 7.5 games now is they're telling you they're losing to, where are their wins? New Mexico, Northern Arizona. Got it. Texas Tech, BYU, Colorado. That's 5 wins. 6 over Houston, 7 over Arizona State, and then they're telling you a coin flip here and there between TCU and K-State and Utah. Guys, when I look at this, and I'm not joking, if you got them losing to Utah and K-State, congratulations, they're winning 10 games. They can lose 3 games. You got them losing to UCF, West Virginia, Colorado. Who you got them losing to? Where? What? When? Why? How? Arizona, for me, I'm going to sound crazy. I think Arizona's undefeated, bro. I think Arizona's 10 to 12 wins. I'm on Arizona big, and I see it. It's a lock for me. The over, they changed the odds. They made it a little worse, but I'm still on Arizona. I think it's a bet you need to make. Remember, the shade in green means you need to make the bet. The green is also a lock. By the way, on this list, I'll get to it, but Colorado is actually somewhere else on the chart because I did them very early on. It's a whole nother issue, just so you know, if you don't see Colorado here. And same with K-State being at the bottom. They should be up here if it's alphabetical, but I did them late. So I left everybody where they're at on the chart, original chart, just changing numbers for what they are. But I'm still on Arizona. I'm very high on Arizona. I might be the only one. I think it's a bet you need to make. On the flip side, Arizona State. I'm on the under at 4.5. It has not changed. The odds have changed drastically. They think it's really going to happen. Arizona State under 4.5. I think they have a daunting schedule for them. for them. But I actually value Arizona State more than most people. If you look here, Arizona State, for me, they're the 12th best team in the Big 12. Everybody's going to tell you they're fighting with Houston for dead last. I have them at 12, and I have them 59th overall, which is the crazy part. Like, they're 59th overall, and yes, I know they're starting Sam Levitt at quarterback. Trust me, I'm with you. I like Arizona State at 59th overall. That means that I respect this entire conference really, really good. That being said, they're still not going to win a lot of games. They have a daunting schedule. I think Wyoming's a quality team. They should beat Wyoming. Mississippi State, I actually think they're going to beat Mississippi State and not beat Texas State. Think about that, the inverse, right? You're like, well, that's an SEC team. They're going to win. Mississippi State beat Arizona. No, they beat Arizona last year when Arizona started the wrong quarterback. And Mississippi State is nowhere near as good as they were last year. I think they're much worse this year. I have them. I do not think Mississippi State's very good at all. Assess the talent, assess the roster. They look bad. I would take Tulane over them. Texas State, I think, beats Arizona State. Texas Tech beats them. Kansas beats them. Utah beats them. Cincinnati beats them. Did I say Cincy beats them? Oh, no, they don't. But it doesn't matter. Oklahoma State, UCF, K-State does. BYU probably doesn't. Arizona does. So I think they're at 4 wins. The under's there. I think it's a lock. And you have to bet it big to make it profitable. And here we are. I really believed in it early on. The books have adjusted. I hope you got on it early. Baylor, under 5.5. It's tough. It's a lock, though. And the reality is Baylor's playing a daunting schedule. I think they win, possibly beat BYU. What do I have? I have them beating BYU. The schedule's tough, man. For them, the schedule's tough. I like Baylor, but I think Baylor's going to win 3 games and fire their coach. I think Baylor wins 3 games and fires their coach. 1, 2, pick one, and that's it. 3 to 4 games. But the books have them over here at 5.5. That means they would have to win 6 games. I don't see it, and I like their offense. I'm on the under. It's a lock, and I think it's a bet worth making. BYU, it's a lean, and I'm confused. I'm on the under now. I was on the over. Let's be clear. Let me make that red. I flipped, but it's a lean. It's not a bet you should make. Minus 124 or 128, excuse me. I'm on the under. I still like BYU. It's just hard to tell how good they're going to be. I read reports every day about their quarterback play in practice. It'll be like so-and-so threw 6 interceptions at practice. You either think that defense is amazing or their quarterback plays trash. I think their quarterback plays trash, okay? Just so we're clear. Cincinnati could be sneaky good. They could. I'm on the under, though. A lot of it has to do with who they're playing and when they play them. They're going to beat Southern Illinois. If Cincinnati can beat SMU, congratulations. I don't see it, though. SMU is one of my favorite teams. They're in my top 25. Cincinnati, win, and I don't see it again. Like, I think it's bad. They're not winning till way down here in these last weeks. Even then, they're going to win 4 games. They have them at 5.5. I'm on the under. It's a lock, and it's pretty damn good odds. That's one of the better bets to make. That's why it's shaded green. Houston, under 4.5. They changed it to 3.5. So when I made the video and told you go 4.5, it's now 3.5, and it's still a value bet. I'm still on the under at 3.5 for Houston. I think their cupboard is bare. And I hope you jumped on it at 4.5 because it's definitely going to hit 4.5 for sure. Iowa State. I'm big on Iowa State. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. It's a lean. But when I look at Iowa State, trying to get to them, excuse me. I actually think this whole thing, they have a daunting schedule, by the way. This whole thing depends on whether or not they beat Iowa. And I know that sounds crazy. But I love Iowa State. I'm on the over. It's very marginal. It's a lean. You don't have to make the bet if you didn't make it. I like Iowa State. Kansas, 8.5 wins. I think they get it done. I actually think Kansas is going to win 10 games. Kansas is loaded. They're on my chart. I have Kansas 35th over. I'm sorry, that's Kansas State. 29th overall. 29th overall in America. I like Kansas a lot. The only weak spot on their team is their offensive line. Outside of that, they're there. And I think that Kansas has a chance. Like, this last part of their schedule is pretty easy, bro. It really is. Those last 3 games ain't shit. They have the easiest games, Arizona State and Houston. Gives them a couple weeks to get ready for K-State. This is a trap game. They better not ignore Houston. Lindenwood, Illinois. I just like the way Kansas measures up with some of these teams. 3-0. 3-0 Kansas. And then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 wins right there. They just need one. They just need to win one game against West Virginia, K-State, Iowa State. I'm with it, man. I'm with it. I like Kansas. It's worth the bet. It's a value bet, so careful. Oklahoma State. Where are they? Oh, K-State. Let's go to K-State. K-State, I'm on the under. It's 9.5. It's going to happen, the under. I don't think they're going to get there. I have them losing to Arizona, Oklahoma State, Kansas. I think I have them losing to West Virginia and Iowa State, to be honest. But all they need to do is lose 3 games and you're under. This is a very high over-under here. This is crazy. That means that you think they're winning 10 games. You think K-State's going out there to win 10 games. That means you think they're only losing 2 games. I don't like it. I just don't like it. So I'm at K-State 9 wins. I'm on the under on that. Oklahoma State. This is one I think the books are getting wrong again. I mean, they're overvaluating some of these teams, and I'm wrong, but I think they're wrong. Arizona and Oklahoma State are 2 bets you need to make. Oklahoma State, 8.5 wins. The over is paying you plus 122. It's probably the best bet I've seen. It's considered a value bet now, but it was a lock when it was 7.5. Remember, it was 7.5. I told MVPs get on it. I hope you got on it. But here we are today, and I still like them above 8.5. I think Oklahoma State is a loaded team. You see the way I have them evaluated here. I'll talk about it in today's podcast. Great running back room, solid offensive line, very underrated but good wide receivers. I'll go over them today. A quarterback that threw for 3,000 yards and everybody ignores it. I don't know why. And then their defense, their linebacker core is one of the best in America. And their secondary is not a slouch. They're the second best team in the Big 12 for me. This is a team that was in the Big 12 championship last year. And they brought everybody back. So I really like Oklahoma State. And I look at them and I say, yeah, they're going to get it done. 3, you think they're going to lose these 2 games? Is that what you're thinking? They're going to lose these 3 games? Like, I don't know what we're thinking here. I got them winning 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 wins. That's already on the over for Oklahoma State. And that's with them losing all 3 of these games. And I don't think they're going to lose all 3. I have them at 9 wins, even if they lose all 3 of these in a row. The books are crazy. I like the over a lot. There's a lot of value there. I really respect it. TCU. Initially, looking at TCU, I was on the under. I'm still on it, and it's heavy, man. There's nothing you can do. It's minus 150. There's nothing you can do. They have a daunting schedule. They play all the good teams. You know they're losing to Kansas. You just feel it. They're losing to Kansas, Utah, Oklahoma State, and Arizona. So that's 4 losses right there. They get a 5th loss, you're on the under. And they got to run the table the rest of the way. UCF, SMU, Texas Tech, Baylor. Nah. They got no room for error. I like the under. I wouldn't, I say it's a bet you have to make. I probably shouldn't say that. It's minus 150. You can get better value elsewhere. Texas Tech turned out to be pretty bad on the chart, but pretty decent overall. I think they start the season 4-0. 5-0 even. And I'm still on the under because I just look at this schedule down here and it just doesn't look good. It looks like a problem. I'm telling you, it looks like they're going to win 7 games. It's a lean. UCF. I think UCF has a pretty solid team. I have them ranked pretty solidly. This is all going to depend on whether or not they can beat Florida on the road in the swamp, which sounds crazy. Right now on paper, I have them ahead of Florida by 2 spots. They're 31, Florida's 33. But other than that, man, this is rough. So UCF, I'm on the under, and it's now a value bet. Careful. We take all value bets for 1 unit. Utah, I'm on the over. It's 9.5, and I'm on the over. I look at Utah's schedule. It looks pathetically easy. They start off with 3 easy wins, 2 tough games, a bunch of easy teams, and I see 2 tough games at the end of the season. So either way, they got 4 tough games on their schedule, and they got Utah at 9.5. meaning they only have to win 3 of those. Right? 3 of the 4? Does that sound right? Did I do the math there? Am I tripping? Or 2? Yeah, well, Utah's only got to win 10 games. 10 games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, they already have 8. They only got to win half of those games against Iowa State, UCF, Oklahoma State, and Arizona. And I think they win these bottom half. I think they win these last 2. One's at home and then one's UCF on the road. Either way, I like them on the over. It's a value bet. It's 128. That's a hell of a value bet. I like them. They're stout, man. West Virginia, I'm on the over. 6.5, I'm on the over, and it's at minus 128 now. I've always been on the over. It's still a lean, but I'm on the over. I like West Virginia to win 7 games. Yes, I know they're going to lose to Penn State. 1, 2. I have them ahead of K-State. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I have them at 7 wins. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. That's why it's a lean, not a lock. The only team I didn't talk about is Colorado. Colorado's 41 in my polls, and I told you that they were going to be above 4.5 wins. The sports books had them at 4.5 wins. I said jump on that now. Please bet it heavy. It was one of the very first win total videos I ever did. It was actually the very first one. I said take the over and take it on 4 units. It's now 5.5. And now 5.5 feels very, very tough. I still think they're on the over on that. I still think they find a way to win 6 games. So 7 is daunting for them, but 6 is there. And I think that when I say 6, it's because I have them beating Texas Tech now in November. I've famously said they're not going to win any games in November. After looking over the rosters, doing it further analysis, I think they win 1 game in November, the first one. Other than that, they're going to lose the other 3. But Colorado, hopefully, is above that 5.5 win total. I'm still on the over there. It's still a lock. I'm going to leave it as a lock. But it's not. It was 4 units when it was 4.5 wins. And I hope you jumped on it early, MVPs. I'm going to be posting all of my live bets on the Discord server so you guys can see the screenshots of them. I hope you get your bets in before the season starts. Pace yourself. We're going to have a ton of money to make on Saturdays on the weekday games. You don't have to put all your money out there. I'm going to let you guys know. I have put a solid I'm going to go ahead and say a solid 30 units on futures bets. Okay, 30 units on futures bets. I just feel pretty good about certain teams and Vegas being wrong. Please pace yourself accordingly. Do what you can handle. Your friends don't know, but Rico knows. See you guys on the podcast. Peace.